Are we on? We're on. Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Reading ideas. Have I got a good idea? Reading idea for you. So, we're just onto the prom at Morecambe Bay. And book I've mentioned before, Musashi. Just finished Musashi. I came across it in the bookshop on the prom down here in Morecambe. Book 1. So I got the other 4. I think you can get it in 1 volume. Huge thing. I'll have a check how many pages, how many words it is altogether or whatever. But very long. The blurb on the back bigs it up. 120 million copies sold in Japan alone, and read it if you want to understand Japanese culture. And it's Musashi is a samurai. The book says it's based on Miyamoto Musashi, a real samurai, the greatest samurai, swordsman, whatever. So that's the kind of bare bones of it. So I read the first one, really enjoyed it. Could see what it meant about Japanese culture. I've just read the 5th one, last one, and so I'll do a bit of a review. Won't give away too much, but just some thoughts. Oh, a little drop of rain. Not a surprise in North Lancashire, even in the summer. So, yeah, where was I? Oh yeah, Japanese culture and whatnot. So, it would be just a slight different experience, I think, reading it as like one big thick book. Now, where I've read book 4 and 5 quite close together. Book 3 ends with, and it's been building up to it, a big fight scene where Musashi takes on a club, you know, that does a style of martial arts. So yeah, you know, sort of little thoughts go through your mind. So I've also been reading a bit of, well, quite a few books of Louis L'Amour. My most recent one was Hondo, a good book. A couple of things kind of, it'll help get me thoughts right on Musashi. With Hondo, you know, it was written in like the 1950s, slightly different times, different ideas of masculinity and what have you, and femininity and marriage and all the rest of it. So yeah, and there's an interesting bit in Hondo where there's a woman been living on her own. It's unlikely in the middle of nowhere with a young kid. Husband is off somewhere, not come back, might be alive, might be dead. It's Indian territory, and they come past and they leave her alone. Highly unlikely, but there you go, that's what it is. And Hondo comes along and she's bringing up a son like one way, and he's kind of the epitome of, you know, a quiet brooding type, and he just does something, just does stuff, doesn't explain it, and she's all, oh, I'm not sure about this, but I do like him. And there's one bit where the son says, you know, they're in near a it's not a lake, water, and the son says, well, I can't swim. And he says, what, you can't swim? He says, no. And she says, never got around to teaching him, scary. So he just walks over, bearing in mind, he's only been there a day, picks the kid up, chucks him in the water, and she's like, what the hell are you doing? You evil son of a bitch, blah, blah, blah. She don't say that because she's a lady. But it's like, what the hell? And then the kid comes up and he's, right, no, don't panic, take your time, kick your legs. And the kid starts to swim. And he's like, look at me, mummy, I can swim. Look at that. And I'm not the only one, but reading it and you're kind of thinking, oh, those days are gone, aren't they? Yeah. You'd be safe there, matey boy. Even if the kid can swim. And even then she's like, well, that shouldn't be right. That was horrible, I'd have never done that. Oh, but hang on, the kid's swimming. That's a bit strange. I don't know what to make of this. You know, he does things against what I think's right, and yet it worked out all right. Now I say that because you can imagine a book written about ancient Japan in the 1600s and samurai. So I'm going to leave my village and I'm going to wander around picking swords fights with people to learn the way of the sword and the way of the samurai. And now, that's not exactly nice, is it? You don't have people wandering the streets of England, America, Western Europe. I'm just going to wander around with my sword, you know, tell everybody, you know, I'm learning, I want to be the best, and I'll just go and find people who say they're good, and I'll go, right, you know, all very formal and nice, of course. Can't be impolite when you're looking to chop someone's head off. We'll have a fight to the death, me, you. All right, no problem. So obviously that puts you in a different culture, and there's all sorts of other things, like there's a granny and she's like doing very unreasonable things just purely to because, you know, it's a son. So all very different cultural things, different attitudes. There's a bit where yeah, well, you know, there's people wandering around the countryside, there's no police protection. Yeah, so all very interesting. Now, so yeah, that's the kind of the backdrop. But you also get and got like early on in the first 3 books, a few cultural references. Now, just like Hondo, the first half of Hondo is really action-packed, really fast-paced, wonderful writing, and then the whole thing slows up and he's walking around and it's about this woman and about Indians, so it's like too paced. And Musashi's done a little bit the same. Book 3 really builds up to this big fight scene, you know, long drawn out, goes on for ages. Then when it comes to 4 and 5, the pace, you know, slows down, changes, and it's almost like the writer, this is my interpretation, it's almost like the writer's gone, oh, you know, this is a bit of an epic, because it was serialized, I believe. So it's almost like he's then feeling a duty to his Japanese culture, ancient Japanese culture, and then, you know, there's no big fight scene in book 4, or even most of the way through book 5. What he's doing is he seems to be, you know, just going through characters, and he talks about this other samurai, who's supposedly really, really good, and society puts pressure on him and Musashi to fight it out to see who's the best. And Musashi disappears for most of, for a lot of book 4, most of book 5. It's all about other people, and it almost seems to be that he's kind of going through, lots of bits of Japanese culture. It's good, but it's kind of, it's not action paced no more. People will go on a boat ride almost just so that he can describe, the boat. They'll go visit a pottery maker, an artist, and it's well written, but again, it's just so that he can talk about, the culture of Japanese pottery and calligraphy and all this type of stuff. So that's the impression that I get, that he researched a lot, just like Louis L'Amour researched the West a lot, but it feels a little bit like the battery's running out, so you're lucky. So yeah, right, well, the battery run out, so I think that's a bit of a message to get a move on and finish up, isn't it? So yeah, Musashi, I'll definitely get around to rereading it. It's very, very long, so I'll leave it for a little while, but so much details in there. You can see kind of why it's been a big hit in Japan. It's almost like a historical reference. There's so much detail in there about Japan and wildlife, plants, way of life, how they go about things. So book 5 finished off with the big fight, and the end is I won't do that to you. Definitely worth a read. Musashi!